Namaskarams and good morning to one and all. My name is V.K. Arun Kumar and I am a PhD research scholar at the School of Music and Fine Arts, Vistas, Wales University, Chennai. I take great pleasure in welcoming you all for this morning's webinar, the 9th webinar in our series, Music and Dance, Learning from Research and Experience. I would like to first of all thank the management members for their kind support, the Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Controller of Examinations for their guidance and encouragement in conducting this webinar series. I would like to thank all the panelists who have participated in our webinars and who are still participating today. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our Director, Dr. S. Subbalakshmi Madam, to present the welcome address. Welcome, Madam.
Good morning. I am pleased to welcome you all for the 9th webinar conducted by the School of Music and Fine Arts, Vistas. First of all, I would like to thank the management of Vistas for their kind support and encouragement. I also thank Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar and Controller of Examination of Vistas. I welcome and thank Dr. M. Subhashri, Assistant Professor, Department of Music, Madras University, Dr. Rajashri Vasudevan, Director, Center of Excellence, Art and Culture, Shasun College for Women, Chennai, Dr. Niranjana Srinivasan, Faculty, Department of Vocal Music, Dr. Tamil Nadu, Dr. J. Jayalalitha, Music and Fine Arts, University, Chennai, for their wonderful participation in this webinar of dance and music. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam. SPIC McKay has been our partner in organizing so many events for the past few months, and it is with great honor and privilege that we wanted to show you the highlights of the latest event that Wales was part of, especially the School of Music and Fine Arts under the direction of our director, Dr. S. Subbalakshmi Madam, and the students, PhD research scholars, and our faculty were very proud to present on 30th January 2021 a rendezvous series with SPIC McKay with Padma Shri awardee, Bharatanatyam exponent, Padma Shri, Dr. Chitra Vishweshwaran Madam. Please enjoy some highlights from the program. Thank you. We will now go to the webinar for this morning session. Our first panelist today, Dr. M. Subhashri Madam, Assistant Professor, Department of Indian Music, University of Madras. Her topic, Pada Prakaranam of Sangeeta Chandrikai. Welcome, Madam.
Namaskaram. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in this webinar organized by Wales University. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Subbalakshmi Mohan Madam for giving this opportunity. The topic that I have chosen for this presentation is Pada Prakaranam of Sangeeta Chandrikai. Sangeeta Chandrikai is a Tamil work which was written by Manika Mudaliar and published in the year 1902. In particular, I have chosen the third chapter or the third segment of the work Sangeeta Chandrika, which is the Pada Prakaranam. First, the Swara Prakaranam. Second, deals with Tala, named as Tala Prakaranam, and followed by Pada Prakaranam. As the name implies, Pada Prakaranam is a compilation of different Padam, which is the name given by Manika Mudaliar. It is a compilation of different Tamil songs which are put in notation. Sangeeta Chandrika is one of the prominent works which was published during this period, and it is also one of the earliest publications to have incorporated notations for the songs. At the beginning of this chapter, the author gives a detailed description of the signs and symbols he uses or the notes he has used for depicting the songs in notation. To begin with, he gives the word Padam for the songs or the lessons that are to follow. First, the text of the song is given, which is followed by the details pertaining to the song, namely the song from which it is taken. For example, if it is a Tevaram, he mentions it as Appar Swami Tevaram, Sambandar Swami Tevaram. If it is a Thiruvaruppa, he mentions Ramalinga Swami Aruppa. So he gives the name of the author who has composed the particular song, or if it is taken from a compilation like Kandarandadi, Kandaranubhuti, he gives the name. The text is split according to the Tala pattern for easy understanding. At the same time, it is observed that the words are also taken care of so that the splitting of the words do not distort the meaning. This is followed by the raga and tala details in which the song is composed. The author also gives the mela number, the swarasthanas figuring in that particular raga, name of the tala, jati of the tala, the chanda pattern that the tala suggests. He gives the name as Vaipadu. The kala and kala of the tala are given. The akshara kala of the tala is given as footnote at the end of the song. The rhythmic patterns according to the kala are denoted using the two syllables ta and na. To denote the first akshara of the first kala of each anga, the syllable ta is used. Next, moving on to the swara sahitya. Interestingly, the sahitya is given first, followed by the swara. The sahitya is given and the swaras according to the hrasva and dirgha syllables of the sahitya. The swara is given in the next line. If the swara for the first two lines is only given, it may be understood that the rest of the stanzas or rest of the lines are to be sung in the same tune. The swaras may be understood according to the hrasva and dirgha syllables of the sahitya. To indicate the tala count, the sahitya line is given first, followed by the swara. The sahitya units are split with a space in between. The swara phrases are split using the symbol a stroke. Coming to the tala details, the author describes as follows. To denote the angas, the first akshara kala may be reckoned with a kade, probably that is the tattu, and the rest may be reckoned with counting of fingers. To simplify this even more, the kade may alone be reckoned and the counting of fingers may be dispensed, but we have to have the counting in the mind instead of physically reckoning the same. He further adds that the kadai may be also used as the sign to pluck the tala string of the veena with the little finger. This is called the talam podudal or the reckoning of the tala. In the swara line, wherever there is a symbol, a single stroke, it is understood that the first swara following the symbol should be reckoned with the tala. If the starting of the swara line does not have this symbol, it is understood that the swara may be started, but the tala may be reckoned only from the swara which follows the symbol. This type of denoting the tala symbol will automatically follow for the following avartanas. Then coming to the calculation of akshara-kalas. Manika Mudaliar explains this as follows. Calculation of the akshara-kalas for the swara and sahitya are the same. He adds that one hrasva is one akshara-kala, one dirgha is two akshara-kalas, and one dotted letter is one akshara-kala. Accordingly, one dirgha is equal to two hrasvas, one hrasva and one dotted letter is equal to one dirgha, and one hrasva and two dotted letters is equal to one dirgha plus one hrasva. However, in certain places, there may be two hrasva swaras for one dirgha sahitya syllable, and two hrasva sahitya syllables may have one dirgha swara. However, it should satisfy the above formula as the case may be. The author also uses brackets. The syllables or the letters given in the brackets in the Sahitya line means that those letters necessarily need not be uttered. It may be uttered with the same time along with the letters not given in brackets. Elongation and shortening. At times, to achieve the musicality, the hrasva syllables may be elongated in Vilambakala and dirgha syllables may be shortened in Duritakala. For example, Ayyane may be sung as Ayyane in Vilambakala and Ayyane may be sung as Ayyane in Duritakala. This may be applied if there is no distortion in the musicality. There are totally 161 songs figuring in this segment. They can be put under different heads, namely Agappai Siddhar Padalgal, Advaita Unmai, Appar Tevaram, Thiruvaruppa, Upanidadam, Kadavali Siddhar Padalgal, Kanda Puranam, Kandaranubhuti, Thirukural, Kaivalya Navaneetham, Sashivanna Bodham, Sambandar Tevaram, Appar Swami Tevaram, Sivaragasyam, Sivaprakasham, Shuddha Sadhakam, Sundarar Tevaram, Swarupasaram, Jnana Vasishtam, Jnana Vetti, Thayumanavar Padalgal, Tiruchandavirtham, Tirupugal, Tirumandiram, Tiruvasagam, Tiruvaimozhi, Tiruvilayadal, Nandanar Charitram, Bhagavad Gita, Pattinatthar Padalgal, Pambati Siddhar Padalgal, and so on. Totally we have 48 types of songs. Coming to the ragas, there are nearly 66 ragas used in this Pada Prakaranam segment. And the talas, the names of the talas given by the author are as follows: Chatushrayekam, Chatushrayeka Usi, Chatushra Rupakam, Tishrayeka Usi, Tishrayeka Talam, Tishra Triputa Chapu Usi, Tishra Triputa Chapu, Tishra Rupaka Chapu, Kanda Chapu, Kanda Ekam, Kanda Eka Usi, and so on. Interestingly, the author gives the Vaipada or the rhythmic pattern of each of the tala. For example, for the tala Chatushri Ekam, the Vaipada given is Ta Na Na Na, which means it has to be reckoned as Ta Na Na Na. For some songs in the same Chatushri Ekam, the Vaipada given by author is Ta Na 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 Na, which means two syllables for a beat. Ta Na 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 Na. Let us now have a look of the notation given by Manika Mudaliar for the Tevaram Ponnar Meniyane. As you can see, the text of the song is given, followed by the raga details. Interestingly, this Tevaram is sung in Shankaravarnam according to Manika Mudaliar. So the 29th Mela number for the Shankarabharanam is given. It is mentioned as 29 Dhira Shankarabharanam, and the Tala is Tishra Triputa Chapu Usi. Ta-na-na, ta-na, ta-na, ta-na-na, ta-na, ta-na. So, which may be understood that it may be reckoned as ta-na-na, ta-na, ta-na, ta-na-na, ta-na, ta-na. As you can see, the raga name Ragam Shankarabharanam is mentioned, followed by the Swarasthanas taken by this raga. At the end of each notation, there will be a footnote containing the gamaka as to which has been employed while singing. As you can see at the end of this notation, he gives that Ga ma pavil 2 மூன்றாக 7 அக்ஷர காலம் அடக்கம், followed by பாவை ரீயிலிருந்து இழுக்கவும். We can see the sthai markings. If it is a tarasthai swara, we have the dot above, and if it is a mandrasthai swara, we have the dot below. We can also see the explanations regarding the gamaka which has to be employed while singing. In the introductory note, the author gives that name as Adithal. The explanation given is, ஒரு ஸ்வரத்தை அடிப்பதென்றால் அந்த ஸ்வரத்திற்கு அதிகப்படாமல் அந்த ஸ்வரத்தை அதட்டி பிடித்தல். ஒரு ஸ்வரம் இரட்டித்து பேசும்போது முதல் ஸ்வரத்தை விட்டு இரண்டாவது ஸ்வரத்தை அதட்டி பிடித்தலாக்கிய அடித்தலே விசேஷமாய் நேரிடும். சச ரி கக மாமாவை அடித்து பிடிக்கும் போது ச ரி கக மாமா என்று பேசும். The next explanation is உதைத்தல். ஒரு ஸ்வரத்தை உதைத்தல் எப்படி என்றால், அந்த ஸ்வரத்தை உதைத்து பிடிப்பதில் அந்த ராகத்தில் அந்த ஸ்வரத்துக்கு அடுத்த மேலிட்ட ஸ்வரம் எதுவோ அதை பேசும்படியாக செய்வது. சங்கராபரணத்தில் சரிகம பதனிசாவை பிடித்து அதில் ரீயையும் தாவையும் உதைத்து பிடித்தலானது சககம மப நீனிசா என்று பேசும். So this is the explanation given by Manika Mudaliar. Next is ஆட்டல். ஒரு ஸ்வரத்தை ஆட்டல் எப்படி என்றால், அந்த ஸ்வரத்திலேயே தங்கி முன்னும் பின்னுமாக அசைந்து கொண்டு நிற்றல், அதாவது நடுங்கிக் கொண்டு நிற்றல். இழுத்தல். ஒரு ஸ்வரத்தை இழுப்பதெப்படி என்றால், அந்த ஸ்வரத்திற்கு மேல் அல்லது கீழ் உள்ள மற்றதாவது ஒரு ஸ்வரத்திலிருந்து இழுத்துக்கொண்டு அந்த ஸ்வரத்திற்கு வந்து நிற்பது. இழுத்து பிடித்தல். ஒரு ஸ்வரத்தை இழுத்து பிடிப்பதென்றால், அந்த ஸ்வரத்தை இழுத்து பிடிப்பதனால் அந்த ஸ்வரத்திற்கு அரை ஸ்வரம் மேலாகவும் அதற்கடுத்த மேல் ஸ்வரத்திற்கு அரை ஸ்வரம் கீழாகவும் பேசுவிப்பது. ஒரு ஸ்தாயி அளவில் 12 ஒரு பங்கு அளவுள்ளதற்கு ஒரு ஸ்வரம் என்று கணக்கு. So this is the explanation given for gamakas. He has given the number 1, 2, 3, 4, which is given in the form of footnotes. பாவை ரீயிலிருந்து இழுக்க. So this kind of explanation is seen in the notation. To summarize, the Pata Prakaranam of Sangeeta Chandrikai is an extensive compilation of Tamil songs with varied textual content. The choice of the ragas and talas for some of the popular songs are different. As we saw, the Ponnar Meniyane, which is usually rendered in Pantvarali, is rendered in Shankarabharanam in Manika Mudaliar's work, and the Thodude Seviyan is rendered in Karaharapriya. Usage of rare ragas like Vilasini, Suranandi, Pravala Jyoti is seen. Usually we will have the swara line at the beginning followed by the Sahitya, but Manika Mudaliar has given the Sahitya line first followed by the swara. Karvays are denoted using the concluding vowel extension of the word. Ponnar Meniyane, if the ne is being elongated, the vowel extension a will be given. Rhythmic pattern of the talas mentioned at the top of the song, which helps in understanding the kalai, if it is in one kalai or two kalai. Details regarding the gamakas or the manner of the notes that has to be rendered are given in the form of footnotes, and notation for one stanza is given, which is understood that the other stanza are also to be sung in the same tune. But he has given the text, the whole text of the song. This is a huge attempt in bringing out a Tamil work incorporating the notation, signs and symbols. He has also meticulously given a complete index of the songs, separate tables for the ragas and talas. However, we do not find some of the details like the arohana, avarohana. There is no mention of tala angas, though we have the angas being split according to the Vaipada, tanana, tananana, but we do not have the names of the tala angas. So there are many such intricate details which Manika Mudaliar has taken great efforts to bring out the Tamil compositions and also to introduce the notations for the songs, which will be useful for the learners. This is just an overview of this chapter. We have many more to explore, especially in this chapter. So I just take this opportunity to thank once again Dr. Subbulakshmi ma'am for giving me this opportunity. I had an immense pleasure in going through this work, and this is just an overview, and we have many more to explore in this chapter. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, madam. Our next panelist for today, Dr. Rajshri Vasudevan. She is the Director, Center of Excellence, Art and Culture, Shasun Jain College for Women, and she is also a faculty of dance at Shastra University, Tanjore. Her topic today, Classical Indian Dance, Exploring its Existence and Essence. Welcome, madam.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My salutations to the lineage of Gurus, the Guru Shishya Parampara in the Indian tradition, from Bharata Muni to Abhinav Gupta Padacharya to Padma Bhushan Dr. Padma Subramaniam and Dr. Srimati Jayashree Rajagopalan. I would like to place on record my gratitude for being given this opportunity to share my observations on the topic Indian classical dance, exploring its existence and essence. I am Dr. Rajshri Vasudevan, Director, Center of Excellence, Art and Culture, Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Shasun Jain College for Women in Chennai. When we talk about dance, we are referring to a spontaneous expression of some very deep-seated emotion, whether it is in sorrow or in joy. However, dance as an art form can be learnt as a skill through proper training, and it can blossom into even a professional career, as we have seen in some of the most renowned professional dancers of today. There are some terms that I would like to clarify before we go into the talk proper. One is the term Natya. We all know that Natya has been popularized as a comprehensive term implying and including dance, music, drama, dialogues, props, stage settings, and a multitude of other things needed for performance. However, the tendency is to confuse the term Natya with Natyam, so I would like to clarify it here. Natyam is the term used for dance proper, especially in Tamil Nadu. It refers to the set of items which have been learnt in a particular setup and performed on stage, mostly by solo dancers, but also as group performances. Hence the term Bharatanatyam. It is also important to understand that the term Bharatanatyam, the nomenclature Bharatanatyam, was introduced into the tradition as late as 1930, when in the Music Academy, Sri E. Krishna Iyer, one of the secretaries of the Music Academy then, with the support of Dr. V. Raghavan, a very renowned scholar, and many like-minded persons, wanted to change the term of Sadir into something much more respectable, since the Devadasis had been acquired a very negative name and connotation by then. E. Krishna Iyer, though a lawyer and a freedom fighter, learnt the dance art at Mellatur Bhagavata Mela Natakam and promoted the art by donning female costumes and roles. So the term Bharatanatyam was mooted by him, and it was accepted by the members of the Madras Music Academy. So the term Bharatanatyam has come to mean the classical dance form of Tamil Nadu. Here again, I would like to make a distinction between two other terms which are often confused by many people. One is the term Marga and the other is the term Margam. Marga refers to the path that was laid by the Natya Shastra by Bharata Muni, the author of the text, which is believed to be the oldest existing text anywhere in the world on the art of dramaturgy. When we use the word Marga, we imply the path laid down by Bharata Muni, which was in vogue for several centuries in the country all over Jambudvipa, and the unit of dance movement in the Marga was the Karana, which is a combination of the Sthana, which is a position, the Chari, which is a movement of the entire leg, and the Nrittahasta, which is movement of the entire hand or arm. However, we use the term Margam also, but that refers to a set of items, what is known as a repertoire of dance items, which was codified and compiled by the well-known Tanjavur brothers, Chinnaya, Punnaya, Shivanandam and Vadivelu, were court musicians and dancers at the court of Sarfoji II at Tanjavur and later at Maharaja Swadhi Tirunal's court in Travancore. They were students of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar in music. Inspired by the systematization existing in the music tradition then, the Tanjavur quartet compiled all the existing movements into this Adavu superstructure which we follow till date. We must of course not forget that we have a very ancient dance tradition in the south from the times of Tolkappiyam and Shilapadikaram and other Sangam texts. I would like to give a brief introduction to the text Natya Shastra. It is believed to have been compiled by sage Bharata after the Satya Yuga and the beginning of the Treta Yuga. A very interesting episode about its origin is mentioned in chapter 1 of the Natya Shastra, which is known as Natyotpatti. It is believed that the people after the Satya Yuga had become subject to greed, jealousy, anger, all negative emotions, and they started behaving in a very negative manner as well with each other. Worried about the consequences to the value systems existing at that time, the Devas, led by Indra, went to Lord Brahma and requested him for a very important kind of educative entertainment, which came to be known as Natya, by which the people would be able to educate themselves, but through an interesting message, an educative message, which was given by a dramatic presentation. Because of this particular request placed before Brahma, he took elements from all the 4 Vedas. He took Pathya or recitation from Rig Veda, he took music from Samaveda, Abhinaya from Yajurveda, and Rasa from Atharva Veda, put together all these elements or components and created what is known as Natya Veda, which is often referred to as the Panchama Veda. It was actually a vision which was to be handed over to the Devas. However, Indra and the Devas requested Bharata to take forward the vision of Brahma because they felt Bharata Muni was the appropriate person to carry forward this message. The reasons for this are quite a few. One is a Muni or a hermit has no vested interest. He thinks about the welfare of society as a whole, and that is the message of dramatic art as well, to work for the welfare of society and not just make it into a commercial proposition. Bharata took forward this Natya Veda by systematically codifying it into the Natya Shastra. And the Natya Shastra as a text, what we have today, has about 36, in some editions 37 chapters, which moves from Natyutpatti, or the origin of dramatic art, to Natyavataranam, whereby the dramatic art descended from Devaloka to Bhuloka. It's an encyclopedic work which largely works or analyzes the 4 main types of Abhinaya. These 4 types are, first we have Vachika Abhinaya, which is Vak or verbal. We have Angika Abhinaya, which is the expression of the body. We have Aharya Abhinaya, which is the expression through external props like makeup, jewelry, costume, etc. And then we have Satvika Abhinaya, which is technically the expression of the inward emotions. All these 4 Abhinayas together, along with 10 other elements, which are known as the 11 limbs of Natya, were discussed and analyzed by Bharata Muni and taught to his 100 sons or disciples, whereby Natya could become a performance art tradition. Now, from that tradition, which is actually based on the Karana system as far as dance per se is concerned, we come to the post-16th century, where we have the Adava system which came into existence. Now, what happened then to the Karana system, you may ask? That is because of certain historical factors, which, due to the invasions over a period of time, made the Karana movements disappear from the practiced art tradition. Dr. Padma Subramaniam is known for the reconstruction of the Karana sculptures by a correlated study of the Natya Shastra and the temple sculptures of Tamil Nadu from the temples of Tanjavur, Chidambaram, Kumbakonam, Vriddhachalam and Tiruvannamalai. Her revival of the Karanas has completely transformed the grammar of Bharatanatyam and expanded its vocabulary. So what was left as scattered movements all over the country were put together, codified by the Tanjavur brothers and brought under the Adava system, because of which we came to be familiarized with what is known as Sadir, later known as Bharatanatyam. That is as far as the existence of Indian classical dance of Tamil Nadu, known as Bharatanatyam, is concerned. Let us go to its essence. The essence of the Natya Shastra is actually the achievement of rasa. What is rasa? Rasa is believed to be the aesthetic experience of joy or happiness after the communication of a certain deep felt emotion by the performer, whereby it reaches the audience through a communication channel. As is known, in the Natya Shastra, we have 8 bhavas which are corresponding to 8 rasas, and therefore the system put forward by Bharata Muni in the Natya Shastra is actually Ashtarasa. However, now we talk about Navarasa. How did we have the 9th rasa coming into the picture? That is through the efforts of the great Kashmir Shaivite philosopher of the 11th century, Abhinavagupta Padacharya, who felt that Bharata had actually spoken about Shanta rasa, which is the rasa of equanimity, of peace, of harmony. But he did not express it outwardly, and Abhinavagupta introduced it as the 9th rasa, because of which now we talk about the Navarasa scheme. We have here a small table to show you how the bhavas lead to the rasas and what are the colors and the devatas associated with each one of them. It is the great contribution of the Indian aesthetic tradition to world aesthetics that we have been able to come up with a theory of rasa, which was popularized by Bharata Muni, and Dhvani, which was popularized by Anandavardhana of the 9th century, and both put together as Rasa Dhvani by Abhinavagupta Padacharya of the 11th century, Kashmir. Among the revivalists of the dance art in the pre- and post-independence era we have two great stalwarts. One is Srimati T. Balasaraswati, who came in the Veena Dhannamal tradition in music, and we have Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale, the founder of Kalakshetra. Their contribution to the revival and preservation of Bharatanatyam is immense. While one came from the traditional family, the other was an educated woman in the modern format and highly exposed to the Western world. It is important for us to remember that the sacrifice that these great legends made in the preservation and revival of the art form is a lesson for us to take forward the art and to preserve its importance on the global stage. Not only should we be good practitioners, but we should learn to be good rasikas.
And that is with reference to the essence of the Indian classical dance form. This concept of rasa is expressed in all art forms in India. Whether it is the fine arts, like you have painting, sculpture, architecture and the like, or performing arts, like you have dance, music, drama and the like. It is said to be the bulwark of the Indian aesthetic tradition. And it is for rasa that we all create different works of art and perform and promote it in the performance space as well. It is important to note that whether we talk about a classical art form or a folk art form or any other such nomenclature, the entire artistic tradition in India is distinguished most often from that of the West because of its emphasis on the Purusharthas. What are the Purusharthas? They are the aims or objectives of the individual. The Purushaha. Here, the word Purushaha is not an anti-feminist word. It just refers to the individual. What are the four arthas or objectives of his life's existence? We have dharma, artha, kama and moksha. And the artistic tradition is believed to be for the attainment of all the three, Trivarga, finally leading to moksha. Therefore, the artistic achievement of an artist is to create that rasa or aesthetic enjoyment, joy, happiness through her performance, whereby the artist and the performer and the audience experiences what is known as Brahmananda Sahodara. That is the experience which is almost akin to the experience of Brahma and the Ananda of that experience. So this is very briefly the evolution of the dance art in the Indian tradition, its existence and its essence. And it is important for us, not just as performers, but also as audience members, to realize and to remember that the artistic tradition should always be both educative and entertaining. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Our next panelist for this morning, Dr. Niranjana Srinivasan. She is the faculty of Department of Vocal Music, Tamil Nadu Dr. J. Jayalalitha Music and Fine Arts University, Chennai. Her topic today, very relevant to the current situation, impact of the pandemic, COVID, on the music sphere. Welcome, madam.
Namaskarams to all. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Subbalakshmi Madam for having invited me to present a paper in the international webinar hosted by the Wales University. I introduce myself as Dr. Niranjana Srinivasan, Carnatic vocalist, and also working as a faculty in the Department of Vocal, Tamil Nadu Dr. J. Jayalalitha Music and Fine Arts University. Today, I shall be presenting a paper on the impact of pandemic COVID on the music sphere with special reference to the Carnatic field. The soothing music is said to be instant tonic for any mental worries. But it is inconceivable that the music itself would become one of the victims of nature's onslaught in the role of pandemic. No one would have imagined the devastating effect of this pandemic would be such that mankind as a whole would kneel down with folded arms with prayer to Almighty for mercy. When the tsunami of pandemic swept across the whole world without any differentiation, the initial belief was that the people would die like insects in bunches with no source of liberation. It was initially believed that the pandemic would destroy the whole world with all its pervading and catastrophic force. With enormous population and poor hygiene condition, India was supposed to bear the brunt of pandemic heavily. But our Indian way of living and lifestyle has withered the onslaught. The initial intensity and the lockdown enforced by the government to control the spread of the coronavirus amidst the populace gradually faded over the months, and the people started to return to routine with a lurking fear of confronting COVID, but with a slight assurance that the medical relief was on the anvil. With the advent of vaccination, the fear is almost gone, but the impact of the lessons COVID delivered certainly made us to look to other alternatives of sustaining the pre-COVID lifestyle with mandated variations in all walks of life, starting from fundamentals of coping with the individuals in the family, then the society as regards food, social rapport, and work culture. Of course, the most important is generating the source of income of making one's living. Let us focus our attention on Carnatic music segment of the society. The immediate lesson the pandemic taught us is that body neatness and the daily routine of how to maintain your body with mandatory practices that achieve this result. Then only the other things come to the fore. According to my learning, understanding and internalizing the art with reference to one of the illustrious traditions of Indian music, Carnatic music has progressively evolved, developed, and reached its pinnacle and glory both as an art and science. It is very much apparent through the long, interesting history and records of various ambassadors of Carnatic music, both performing artists and eminent musicologists who have contributed to the fostering, advancement and innovation of the art during the past, in the present and for the future generations. The sphere of Carnatic music had its own impact on the music fraternity during the COVID lockdown. Our time-honored Indian tradition has been that any acquisition of knowledge of the performing art form would be sustained till one's life, and only it is inculcated through the benedictions of proper gurus of the knowledge, and then only it will be rewarding all through one's life. This is emphatic yes answer in the field of Carnatic music. There has to assemblage of students at the Guru's house on daily basis for being imparted the nuances of the music initially and then stage by stage development to the peak. This sort of Gurukulam learning has taken heavy beating by this pandemic. Any learning through gadgets are bound to be short-lived or at least without vigor and piousness attached to our Carnatic music. The advent of technology has been on the wheels for quite some time, which is evident from the fact that there are dedicated Carnatic music students choosing their favorite celebrated and illustrious gurus from anywhere across the globe, and in turn the gurus imparting knowledge to the best of their ability through various online internet applications such as the Skype, Google Meet, Zoom Meet, WhatsApp video call, and many more. There are very few shortcomings regarding online learning, such as the aspect of Thalam and Kalapramanam being missed because of the technical connection issues causing a few seconds of lag or delay. But that too may be overcome or taught to the students by way of sharing pre-recorded videos of the lessons taught in every class. The various institutions holding Department of Music as well got to continue their classes and finish their exam procedures completely online. Nothing got stopped completely, but it took a while to get used to the new form of learning and teaching from the outlook of the student and the faculty respectively. Daily course and routine have been restored and back to normalcy now, with face-to-face classes happening and the technology added as an extra component to the teaching and learning methods. In the process of academic accomplishments, the regional, national and international seminars were all held as webinars, either by going live online or by way of premiering the pre-recorded presentations. Now, moving on to the effect of COVID on the dimension of performing sphere. The music in its fold embraces Namasankirtanam, Nagaswara performances, Carnatic kacheris, which includes the vocalists, violin artists, veena artists, accompanying artists, which includes the entire bunch of the percussion section, namely the players of Mridangam, Tawil, Kanjira, Morsing, Ghatam and many more. It is stated in our ancient script that with the dilution of piousness over the years, with too many concentration on everything, the salvation can be attained through Namasankirtanam. With lakhs of temples in India with Nagaswaram, bhajan performers along with their accompanying artists performing all around throughout the day and incidentally making livelihood of the same, pandemic has devastating effect on these performers. With all the closure of temples, these men and women were the immediate target of the pandemic. They did not have solace from any quarter of the society except that is given by government to all and sundry. And those whose source of income as a music teacher in private arena also were sailing in the same boat. Most of the musicians with no source or depleted source had to make a living with their family members. These were really nightmarish days, and the shadow of the same is being felt after the government's not for normal activities, restart of normal activities. On the positive side, the confinement into their houses made the people to introspect and think of alternatives and changes in their administration of profession or vocation. Everything is bound to be on digital platform, henceforth, as it avoids total traveling and that incidentally cut costs and raises energy levels. At least this sort of inculcation of music is to be pursued without break to sustain the interest in music, if not the development of music. The exposure to the public audience in 90% of the cases would be on digital platform. The one welcome aspect of the digital platform that has been necessitated as compulsion of time and which has been accelerated by COVID is that the Rasikars has the homely comforts in listening to the music and the performer has increased public domain in social media. The performer can have wide reach and feedback on his concerts, on his or her concerts. By adding some technical advantage, the quality of the sound can be improved to the equivalent of studio recording for the listener's entertainment. All the studios were booked during the post-lockdown sessions where the concerts started to happen slowly. Till before the break of pandemic, the ambitious prayers of the up and coming artists, of even senior artists, are the slot in sabas and at least a word of appreciation in music column of magazines and newspapers. One may say that some sort of appreciation or shoveling of kudos shall motivate the singer on digital platform, but the larger question is the reward in monetary terms, especially when music is your sole profession. Everybody wants remuneration for their services as a professional, and if does not measure up to its quality, then it is going to be total frustration for the musician concerned. The plight of the lower rung of music world has taken heavy beating in the pandemic period with no source reproachable. True to one's heart, musicians started in believing the importance of having associations at district levels and an apex body at the state and central level that will provide financial aids in times of need. Self-reliance is always the best, and keeping this as motto, the musicians have to contribute during his heydays, or generally a system of funding can be conceived, formulated and established. The corpus of the fund would go to help out the needy musicians. There is a general perception that there cannot be an association musicians as they are world unto themselves as there are stars in the sky, but as said already, finds a way out. We have to find a way out. There is no gainsaying the fact that necessity is mother of all inventions. This paved the way for the Federation of Sabas in Chennai and the Global Association for Carnatic Music across the globe, helping their hand out in various forms, thereby helping the musicians in need and organizing virtual concert series, which they were customarily hosting otherwise, either live online or a pre-recorded ones being premiered in their respective YouTube channels, Facebook and Instagram pages. Evidently, the December music season 2020 was completely held on digital platform. It was all virtual concerts that happened during the season 2020. all said and done, we, the music fraternity, have indelible faith in Carnatic music. Indelible faith that Carnatic music is musical equivalent of Vedas, and it is spontaneous, perennial, and whatever happens on earth, it will survive and reinvent itself sooner or later. This is so because it emanates from Almighty, subsides in Almighty, and it is believed that music is a gift by God to chosen few, as is evident from the child prodigies on instruments and vocal performance. To conclude, given the status of Carnatic music as a divine benediction, so long as the cosmic arrangement exists, this will reverberate for the peace of soul of every living being. There will be a bunch of Puritans in pockets across the world to keep alive the knowledge in music in its purest form and infinite varieties, as is the case with Vedas. I would like to thank once again Dr. Subbalakshmi ma'am for having invited me to present a paper in the international webinar hosted by the Wales University. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, madam. I would like to thank our management, Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Controller of Examinations for their kind support and encouragement during our webinar series. I would like to also thank our Director, Dr. S. Subbalakshmi madam, for contacting all the eminent scholars for their presentations and coordinating this whole webinar series. This is the 9th in our series. We have conducted 2 national webinars and an international webinar as well. I would like to specially thank the panelists for today, Dr. M. Subhashri madam, Dr. Raj Sri Vasudevan madam, Dr. Niranjana Srinivasan madam for accepting our invitation and sending us their recordings for this webinar. I would also like to thank all of you for registering and attending this webinar continuously throughout our series. Please continue to do so. Please note that our Facebook page, School of Music and Fine Arts Vistas, is up and running, as also our YouTube channel. Our international and our national webinar videos have already been uploaded there. We are also working on uploading all the other webinar videos for the benefit of all the students. And I would like to immensely thank all the scholars for having been so cooperative in this pandemic situation. We are slowly trying to get back to normal, but during this time, doing these webinars and sending us the recordings, they've been so helpful and a very big encouragement and a motivation for all the research scholars as well. I would like to thank all of them from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of the Department of School of Music and Fine Arts at Vale Vistas as well. I would like to thank you all for attending this morning's session. Have a lovely rest of the day. Namaskarams.